Hello and welcome to Warhammer Wednesday. In this video I'll be reviewing the Citadel Skirmish case. It's a carry case made by Games Workshop. It will cost you £30. With discount you get it for about £22. For 20 quid or so, it's really good value for money in my opinion. It's got this nice metal hinge. It looks like a very small sort of Apocalypse box when they brought that out 3 years ago that I have. This is the smallest out of the three that they do, and the cheapest. They also do the Battle and then the Crusade. I'll talk about the differences in a moment, but this supposedly can hold 100 miniatures, and the old case, which I have right here, holds 108. I've done my maths. It's 9x4, 36 times by the 3 trays, 108. I think that's right. It should hold a similar amount of models as the old one. And the old one, it used to cost £25 and then they bumped up to 30, and you had two types. You had this for 30, or you had a much larger one for, I think it was either 60 or 75. I'm not 100% sure on that. It might have even been 50, but there you go. So this is a smaller case. It's got this handle that's stopped 90-degree angle. It's an okay handle. I mean, this case isn't really going to be very heavy. It feels quite sturdy. I think if you drop this or whatever, your models are going to be safe inside, and that's sort of like the whole purpose really. There are plenty of other cases out there, of course, like KR cases and battle foam, things like that, and they all offer different things. With my models, I wanted something that you could hold quite a few miniatures in and different shapes and sizes of them, and you can store them. I noticed this when I first got it, that it's got these indents at the bottom and then it's got these nubs on the top. So if you've got another skirmish case, you can stack them. I'm not sure about the larger ones, whether they have those in the same place, but we'll see when I get the other two eventually and do reviews for them. So the way you can open this case, you can't lock it, which is a shame. It would be nice to lock it, because after all, 100 miniatures in here, that could be quite a few £100 worth of minis, but there we go. Just opens like so. The clasps themselves seem alright. I don't know whether they are metal. It's quite a satisfying click. You can glue that to there if you really want. It's completely up to you. I've just left it loose this time though in my little box. And then it's got one sort of piece of foam that's glued around the edges that doesn't seem to have separated yet, and that is the case. So you could put a custom piece of foam in there and put whatever if you really wanted, but this is what it comes with. Now the difference between this and the Battle is the Battle comes with two of these sections, so it's just taller, so it's 1, 2. That's the only difference. The Crusade comes with 4, but they're placed in a portrait position, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Not only a little bit wider, but it's also a little bit longer to take into account that they're portrait way. So the foam itself, it's similar to the old foam. It's a bit sturdier in my opinion, and what it has is it has these sort of zigzag areas. I think it's a really decent way of storing miniatures. Now plastic miniatures, you're not going to have any problems. Metal miniatures, if you've got a metal miniature there and your case sort of goes that way, then yeah, it might slide down, but that's the only sort of thing that could happen when you're carrying the case around and things. It comes with these, which are expandable. They're not glued at the bottom. They're all sort of equal distance, so you're still going to have problems with like Tyrannid models, and apparently you can get a Knight Titan in one of these, but I don't know about that. All the bottom tray is an exact replica of this top one, but with this extra side panelling that's glued on. I don't want to tear it or rip it too much, but it seems quite sturdy. Why did I get the Skirmish and not the Battle or the Crusade if they offer more? Well, basically just because when I paint my miniatures, I don't like to leave them out anywhere. I'd rather just paint them. I want a small box that I can just put freshly painted miniatures in that I can then do showcase videos and things like that. So once I've painted miniatures, I'll put them in here, and then they'll just live in here until I'm ready to do a video, and then they'll go in the bigger boxes. Also, I'm building a chapter, so I'm sort of getting the feel for what size I can put which company in and how many of that company. These cases are absolutely great for putting single miniatures in, and maybe some special characters and dreadnoughts, terminators, but when you start looking at vehicles, yeah, it gets a bit tricky. But I suppose you could always cut a section out if you really wanted, but then you've dedicated that box just for the miniature. So what I'm going to do is, it's alright me talking about this and saying how wonderful it is, but what I like to see in a review is a real example. So I've got, I think it must be, I must have about 108 miniatures in here. They're all obviously painted, of course. And so what I'm going to do is this whole case is full, as you can see, and you can see that the old foam look had a tendency to separate after years, and I've tried to repair it as well as I could, but it's difficult to stick to each other. Anyway, so yeah, I've got the 108 miniatures or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put them all in this mini box, and let's see if I can do that. And there you have it. I haven't been able to fit all of the models into the little skirmish set. I haven't been able to fit 100 in. We'll go through them in a moment. There's 14 models remaining in the old set, and I've counted them up in here, and there's about 80. So I've only got about 94 models in here, and it's supposed to carry 108 if you do your 36 times 3. I didn't have the full amount. But in here, obviously, there's 80. Now, if all of your Space Marines are generic Space Marines, just the normal standard ones, like so, they don't have jump packs, they don't have banners or anything like that, then it might be possible to squeeze another 5 or 10 in there. But I've really jam-packed them, and quite a few of them are metal in there, and quite a few of them have banners or awkward positions, and again, I've sort of squished them in, and a lot of those are Devastators with long weapons. So I think 80 Space Marines in a 20 odd pound case that will close like so. I didn't hear a crack or anything there. You know, that it's quite compact. They're not moving about or anything like that. I think that's pretty good going. 80. Yes, you can't hold a whole company in a skirmish case. That would be pretty awesome. Could fit a standard Space Marine army. Let's just say it's got 10 or 20 normal Marines, then you've got Terminators, a Dreadnought, maybe a Rhino tank. You could fit a small army. I'd probably say that you could fit a 1,000-point army in this case. It depends. I mean, if you've got a Land Raider, it might not fit in here, but a Predator or Rhino possibly would. I might do another video showcasing vehicles in the new cases. But anyway, that's sort of the end of my review. I think it's an excellent case. It definitely holds a lot more than you'd think it would hold. 80 in a case this small is still a very, very good feat, and like I said, if all of your models are kind of generic sizes, then you're going to be able to make the most of it. I've just arranged them up because you could just fit more if they're standing up, and they're not too high to obviously affect the tray above. But by all means, if you've got a few of these cases, you could lay them down and be a bit more liberal, and that will protect them more rather than being quite close together and high and rubbing against each other, which I'm sure they won't because they're in there quite securely. That's the end of my review. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.